Hey guys, got my coffee. Beautiful day outside there. We're going to talk about making 90-degree stubs today, but I'm going to do a little bit of review first. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or Red Bull or whatever. First off, Rexel. Nick Blanford and his team down there, they're very supportive of our program, and they have gone out of their way to make this happen for us on Learning to Be in Conduit at Home. So please remember that as we move forward, and get down there. And if you haven't gotten your tools in Conduit, get down there and get them. And your level. I've had several guys ask me about this level here. Yes, I got it down at Rexel. It's the one with the laser on it. I love it. It's great. It fits in your pocket perfectly. And I've always liked the Greenlee levels. But we're going to talk a little bit about levels. And some of you guys may not have ever used a level before. And I didn't think about that the other day when I was going through it, so I apologize for that. But a level has a bubble. And it has two lines on it with a bubble. And as you move the level back and forth, the bubble goes back and forth. Now, this edge here and this edge here are perfect, okay? When this level is level, in other words, this end of the level is exactly at the same elevation of this end, this bubble will be right in between those two lines, right in between it. If the bubble's over here, over on this side, that means the level's too high here, so we gotta lower that down to get it level. If the bubble's over here, then this side's too high, and we go back and forth till we get it level. Now we've got another bubble here for plumb, okay? When this side or this side, without the screw in it, is perfectly straight up and down, the bubble will be in the center. If the bubble's over here, this side's too high, too far this way, and we just move it the opposite way of the bubble, and then we get the bubble in the center. Now we've got two other bubbles here. This is what you call a 45 bubble, and this is a 30-degree bubble. So when this plane or this plane is exactly 30 degrees, this bubble will be in the center of those two lines. And that's important because we're going to be using 30 and 45 degree angles, okay? And when this one, I was wrong. This is the 45, okay? This is the 45, and this is the 30, which is less. Okay? So, there you go about levels. But Rexel has them. Get down there. Now, a little review about box offsets and reaming. Okay? I love these reamers. We'll do reaming first. These reamers are great, but you may not have money enough for a reamer right now. And if you don't, you probably have a pair of channel locks around the house, okay? You can take a pair of channel locks and get by until you can get enough nickels to rub together to get one. If you take these and take the jaws and go around the outside, and then take the small jaw, put it on the inside at an angle, and scrape around on it, you can get that reamed. Now, would you want to do this all day out there on the job? No. You don't want to use this all the time, but to get through the class, channel locks will do it, okay? And whenever you can get down there and get a ream from Nick. Now, let's talk about your box offset. I've got this set up. It's a little better another day, so we'll get better as we go along. Your box offset here takes two 10-degree bends, okay? Plus 10 minus 10, okay? Plus 10 minus 10 equals 0. So we go from this plane to this plane down here so that it fits this box. Now, a good box offset fits like this. It slides in there. I do not have to pick the conduit up to get the box on it. I don't have to cock it up to get the box on it. I just slide that connector right on there. That's a good box offset. One more. Whenever you lay it down flat, okay, it's up there to go on the box. Take it off, turn it 90 degrees. Get down and look at it. You should see very little, if any, light underneath the front edge. That's how you tell whether you got a dog leg or not. Roll it over on the other side. Now, EMT will never be perfect, but you're going to see at the most a hairline crack. If you see a 1/4 inch crack, you got a bad dog leg and your work's not done. I want that straight with a straight level edge like a tabletop, and I want that box to go straight on there. Then you got something that you're proud of and you can put your name on it, you know. Okay, send me questions, send me questions. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna bend we're gonna do a 90-degree stub, and we're gonna talk about deduct, okay? So, let me get things turned around here. Now, if you look at your benders, right here, it says stubs 5 inches to arrow, okay? We've got 2 arrows on here. This is 1 arrow. And then over here, this is the 2nd arrow. Actually, we've got 3. We've got 1 right here too that makes it easier, okay? So we're going to use the arrow. Now, when we bend conduit, we bend it with this radius on this shoe, okay? And I'm going to bend a 90 real quick, okay? And then I'm going to talk about it. Now, the first thing you want to do when you bend a 90, you want to use your level. I rarely ever go by the marks on the side of these benders other than the arrows, the star, and the teardrop. I use them and the notches. But for the angles and stuff, I use this level. It never lies. Now, the first thing you want to do is put the level on your floor or your bending surface. And you want to look at that horizontal bubble and see if your bending surface is level. If your bending surface isn't level, those bubbles aren't going to tell you a lot, okay, at first. But what we're going to do is right now I'm on my garage floor, it's level, it's center bubble, I'm good, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 90. Now, I've got it laid on the floor. I am pushing with my foot on the back of the bender. Let me show you. My foot goes right here, okay? And I am pushing more with my foot than I'm pulling on the lever. If we're pulling on the handle, okay, I want you to watch that conduit. You see it bend? You see it bend like that? If you're pulling on the handle, you're not going to get a good crisp 90 on it. And I don't want that bent. I want that straight as an arrow till it gets to the 90, okay? Now, I'm pushing with my foot. I'm pulling with the handle a little bit, but more pushing with my foot, okay? Pushing, pushing, Now, I'm going to take my level, I'm going to put it on the conduit, it's got magnets straight, and then when this bubble gets in the center of those lines, then I'm going to stop. Now, when you make yours, you're going to notice when you let off the handle, it's going to spring back a little bit. And that's exactly what it's called, spring back. So when it springs back, you just put a little more pressure on it, bend it just a hair more, until when you let off of it, it's in the center of those two lines. Now, sometimes you'll go too far. And I went a little bit too far. So, my bubble's on that side of the tube, okay? So I got to take a little bit out of it. If you take your conduit handle and you slide it over the end of your pipe and just go like that, you'll take a little out of it. Okay? Now I took a little too much out of it. Need just a little more. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now, it's a cheap outfit here, guys, so you have to overlook me. Okay, now, I checked this before. This is flat. If you take a square and put it here, you're not seeing any daylight down here, okay? Now, I made this to be a 90 degree with this, okay? Perfect, it's dead on, okay? So, we know we got something good and solid to bend into. Now, if we slide this up here, okay? If you see this, there's no daylight here. There's no daylight here. That I've got that dead center on with that level. And a level is so important. That's why I don't go by marks on the side of that bender. I know you're going to hear people say that they can look up in the ceiling and don't even measure it and they can bend it to fit. Well, you know, there's probably a few out there like that, but I've never come across them. I've been able to bend it to where it's close, you know, and if you're above the ceiling and you're not running it plumb and level and it just has to be close, you know, yeah, they can do that. But the pickier you are with measuring and the pickier you are with your level and bending, the better that job's going to look. And it's going to be the kind of job you want to put your name on, okay? So if you use that for your gold standard, bend it where you put your name on it, build your reputation on everything you do every time, okay? So, now, if we were to bend this on the job, okay, we're going to take our Milwaukee tape measure that we got with our bender, okay? Now, if we wanted to measure it to where it was going to come to the top of this wood, okay, that would be 9 inches dead on, okay? And then if we wanted to measure it out from this wall, we're saying that's a wall, we measure it from here out, okay? Now why is that important? That's important because we measure square, but you notice here how it's bent? We bend it round. So we don't go all the way to the board before we start going horizontal. We cut the corner. And because we cut the corner, then we have a certain way that we measure conduit, and we can predict how tall. This is called a 90 degree stub, S-T-U-B. this stub, we can predict how tall it's going to be because we know this radius. And it's going to be the same radius every time. The radius comes from the bender comes from the manufacturer. It's going to be the same way for each individual bender, okay? So, on the side of this bender, it says 5 inches to a stub's 5 inches to arrow. The 5 inches is the deduct, okay? Now, if we measure from this plane to the top of this wood, I get 8 7/8, okay? Now we're going to talk about measuring and bending conduit. I normally don't do 7/8, but I want this to be dead on, okay? Let's round it off to 9 so we're not doing a bunch of funky math, okay? And I've got a wide marker. So, how much did I say it was? 8 7/8? Well, it's not quite square on top. That's 9 inches. We'll say 9 inches, okay? So we've got 9 inches to the top of the wood, okay? 9 inches. Now, when we bend a 90-degree stub, okay, we've got it hooked up here, and we're actually pulling that conduit up through there. We're pulling it up through there. So this side's going to grow. And it's going to grow the same amount every time for a 90. It's that 5 inches. So the 5 inches is called deduct. So if we take our measurement, okay, if we take this measurement, 9 inches, and deduct 5 inches, okay, that's what I'm going to do. If you notice, I just put a little line on there. I didn't draw it all the way around. So here we're going up 5 inches. Now, I'm going all the way around it, okay? Now I know I'm using black marker, but we know we use pencil on the job, right? Gotta have a shot of caffeine there, guys. Okay, now, if I line that mark up with the arrow, okay? Up with the arrow. Get around here. Okay, right here, guys. Line that mark up. We deducted 5 from 9, okay? Now we're on a level floor, okay? We're on a level floor. I'm going to put a crimp in it. I'm pushing with my foot more than I'm pulling with the handle. I'm doing both, but more with the foot. Okay, I'm going to put my level on there. Okay, went a hair too far because I'm talking. Just a hair more. And you guys to see, it doesn't take a lot to bend this. Dead on. Dead on. Good job. Okay. Now, if I'm right, okay, now, I want you to see this, okay? I am about a 1/4 inch too tall. Right here, okay? Now, there's a reason for that. First off, I've got wide marks and I may be off a little bit there, but no two benders are the same. I don't care. You guys, there may be two of y'all that have a bender that has exactly 5-inch deduct. Probably not. Every bender's a little different. I know they're made at the same factory. I know these are all red and silver. I know there's no reason for them to be different, but take my word for it, they are. If you want to make an old electrician mad, you swap his old beat up bender out with a brand new one, and he's probably not going to be happy, he or she. They're not going to be happy because they got used to their old bender. Now, when you get out there, you're going to see benders all marked up. And that's from electricians putting their own marks on there to make their bending easier. This bender here bent it tall. So because it bent it tall, I deducted 5 inches. I needed to deduct a little more. So my next bend, if I deduct, I'm going to walk it up. I'm going to deduct 5 1/8. And if 5 1/8 puts me dead to the top of this, then I don't care what the side of this bender says. You know, 5 inches is just a starting place. I'm going to take 5 1/8 off every time, and I'm going to be right there on it. Okay? So, let me grab another stick of conduit. We're going to do that. Okay, we were 9 inches, right? This time I'm going to do it with a pencil, okay? So, now I'm going to deduct. Here's a little something too, okay? On deducts, on measuring. I know a lot of you guys like to do math in your head, okay? So, we got a 5-inch deduct. And we got a 9-inch here. A lot of guys like to go, okay, 5 for 9 is 4. They'll just put it on the end of the conduit and they'll mark 4 inches. That's fine. If it's exactly 9, if it's exactly 4. But if it's 8 7/8 minus 8 7/8 minus 5 1/4, that's not easy to do in your head. I let my tape measure do my math, okay? Please, please, please pay attention to this, because my goal is to bend it right first time, every time. And if you do it like this, I promise you, you'll have less mistakes. You make mistakes with conduit, you saw it off, throw it away, you're doing it again. Make another mistake, saw it off, throw it away, do it again. And it costs you material, time, and aggravation, okay? So, I'm coming down through here, 9 inches, okay? And then I'm backing up to this mark, okay? And I am going 5 1/8, okay? And putting a pencil on there, I've got a smaller mark. Now this one here, I'm putting it all the way around. I've got a box offset there on the end that I'm contending with, but now, I put it in here and I'm lining that mark up. I want you to see how this mark, okay, lines up with that, okay? That's what I'm doing. Now, I've got a box offset on the other end, and I want to line it up so that I've got it perfect with the box offset. So I'm looking at it like this. Now this is pretty important here, okay? If I hold this conduit here and hold it here, I just got my thumbs on it. It locks in place once I get it where it's gonna go. And it comes with time, but if you're easy with it, you won't slide it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is step on it and crimp that, not crimp it, but put a bend in that pipe. Once I put a bend in the pipe, I don't have to worry about it now. The pipe is set. It's not going to twist. And we're going to get us a 90 here. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. Right here. Okay. See, that's a perfect 90 here. It gets up against the back here, and there's no daylight here. If you put that level down, we've got a level surface we've been on. You put it up there, it's center bubble. Okay, and my second bend is dead dog even with the top of that wood there. Okay, so that's all there is to a deduct. It doesn't matter how high we go. Okay, you can bend a 2-foot stub. Normally the stub is the short end of the pipe, or it's the piece of pipe that's out the front of your bender. Okay. So, this is the front of the bender. This is the front of the bender right here. And this is the way it lays on the floor, okay? This is the stub. So we were bending a 9-inch stub, all right? Now, some things to really make sure of. You got to make sure your bending surface is level. If it's not level, then it's going to be a problem, okay? Also, you want something that's perfectly straight up and down. Now, you can use your level and tell whether it's up or down or not. And then when we measure our stub, we're laying our conduit flat and we're measuring to the top of the conduit, okay? So, that's a 90-degree stub. Use your level. If all you got is a torpedo level without the 30 and 45, that's fine for right now. We'll be fine, we'll be fine. So, you can bend stubs with that. Keep the questions coming, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to mark your conduit, okay? Here's your homework. I want you to measure your conduit, okay? And I want you to measure back 4 inches, okay? 4 inches. And I want you to take a pencil and draw a circle all the way around it. Then I want you to take your bender and put that 4-inch mark right here. And then use your level and make a perfect 90, okay? Once you make a perfect 90, okay, I want you to measure your 90, okay? Measure how tall your 90 is, and because we started out with 4 inches in front of the bender, if you measure your 9-degree stub and subtract 4 inches from that, okay, if you come out with 8 7/8, you take 4 inches off of that, and that leaves you 4 7/8 for a deduct. That's how you figure your deduct out on the first bend, first try. If you come out with 9 1/4. You take 4 inches from 9 1/4, and that gives you 5 1/4 deduct. Okay, so I will be posting this video, and I want you guys to respond. I will have it set up in Blackboard on 90-degree stubs, what your deduct is, and I want a 9 1/2 inch 90, a 10 1/2 inch 90, and a 12 1/2 inch 90. Now once you bend these 90s, you can cut them off here, okay? Right there where it just starts to straighten out, cut it off right there, and you don't waste that much conduit, okay? So once you do them all, shoot me pictures of it, shoot me questions. I'll have it set up in Blackboard. It's a great day out there. Get out there and enjoy some of it. I hope you and your families are healthy and safe. Take care, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.